All right, here we are today. I'm excited to show you how we formed this foundation. 3 guys, 2 form setters, and a laborer. Here we go. So this morning we start by untarping the entire footing. The footing has been heated since Thursday. Again, that footing is a 25 MPa with a rate C admixture to help it go harder faster. So we put the forced air unit on it. You can see us uncovering the tarps off of the footing here, just trying to make it so that we can access and start removing all of the screws. So as you can see, Mike is taking out the screws. I'm going around smashing on all of the spreaders so that the screws are available for Mike to take it off easily. Now I'm going back around removing the spreader and further smashing it with a hammer to clean it right out. And then I'm picking some of those up and removing and moving them to the van there. Now what I'm doing, because Mike is also taking all the screws out of the forming stakes, I'm smashing those forming stakes out from any of that concrete that's splooged around them, and we're just removing that, tapping them out, trying to clean them out, straighten them out as we go. So now I believe we've already finished that aspect of it. So now we're just picking them up and carrying them. You may have noticed that we have it, when we take them out of the ground, we are overhanging it off the side of the footing so that they're easy to pick up. That's something that was shown to me, just little tricks of the trade that really help. Now you can see we're removing the 2x6, which we use to form basically all of our footings, setting them off to the side because we know we're going to be using them for the whalers when we actually do the wall, and also for holding down tarps later. Here we're trying to heat the footing so that we can do our layout. Unfortunately, the moisture and snow and everything just melted out of the tarps and just made the footing even wetter. So what we decided to do, because it's such a simple project here, we're just doing a rectangle, is we're going to start in this one corner here and square up the entire foundation after. So this is all right to do with these panels. They slide on the footing quite easily. Not sure if I would do it with other systems. You could possibly do it with an ICF system, but with these panels it works quite well. We have no bar in the walls, so we know that nothing's going to hang it up and catch it and keep us from moving that. So the 2 guys are starting to set panels here, and I'm just carrying panels over as they need them. I'm making sure I'm only bringing them the panels that they need, nothing more, nothing less, because we want to continue as good a progress as we can achieve without having to double carry anything. So now we're just continuing to the east, and then as you can see, I want them to start working on this back wall here. So I'm bringing panels over there as well. I quickly realized that they want to continue on this side, so I just bring them panels to that location. And we're going to continue working toward the front of the building. And all that these form setters are doing is putting their pins through the holes of the form, putting their ties on, putting the next panel. It's a really simple project that we're doing here. And, if we want to build more houses faster in Canada, we should get back to building at minimum code compliance. And this would be a perfectly acceptable house but it's actually a garage, but it's 28 by 50. This is a large enough place that you could make this a home and live comfortably. And with minimum building code compliance houses, you can build them much faster, much more economical. As you can see, I had the guys stop forming on this one corner here and ask them to start forming from that back corner now. What this allows me to do is have some room to walk and carry these panels easier. So I'm just trying to work smarter and not harder, because each one of these cages here is 1 metric ton of weight. So, you know, it's a lot of load on the body, but this is what we need more men doing, more men and women doing. We need people to carry heavy things and to not overwork themselves and just create more houses. This is a very intense job from a physical standpoint. So when you can plan ahead and guide the people so that you're not overworking yourself, you're not leaning over a trench, you're able to get down in there and carry it, that's what you want to do. So now they're going to make this last corner here and start heading toward closing in this building here. After we close it in, you'll see us take some measurements with squaring it up. Forming in the winter here, you don't have to be afraid of the snow as much as you need to make sure to heat this before your pour. So I know that when we're blasting heat through this forced air unit at 273 Fahrenheit, these panels warm up very quickly. So we don't need to cover over our wall that we just formed, because we know that at the end of the day, when we tarp it all over, we're going to heat it. It's going to melt everything in there. There'll be no snow on the panels, inside the foundation, and everything will be good to pour from that standpoint. The guys are just putting the last couple of panels into the wall and closing it in. This foundation was a 50 by 28. Our forms are 3 feet wide for our standard panel, and the wall being 8 inches, it allowed us to have no filler piece in the 50-foot wall other than those on the corner. And in our 28-foot wall, we had just a single filler of 24 inches. So very easy to form from that standpoint. You can see Joe's on the inside, so now he's going around spreading out the tarps to protect the footing from frost. Mike has got some tape measures out for us to take a square measurement. You can see Joe has gone over to the one corner. We're grabbing the form puller and we're taking some measurements and trying to figure out which way is the best to shift this on the footing to make sure that it looks symmetrical on the footing, as well as getting our proper measurements here. So we like to square up a foundation before we put the whalers on, because once we get those whalers on, it's going to make everything much more rigid. So when we started taking our measurements, we were, I would say 3 inches out of square when we built this, and then we're pulling it much closer, getting it within 1/4 of an inch. Then we'll put our whalers on, and then we will further fine tune that square foundation. So first you want to get it pretty close, get your whalers on there, and it's going to make it much more difficult to adjust at that point, but we're going to be so close that we're going to be able to make that fine-tune adjustment. So you can see me here now putting these whalers on this side. It's just a 2x6 whaler. That's why we left all those 2x6 laying around the outside of the foundation. So we didn't put them away to have to get them out. We're just going to put them right in these whalers now. So Joe's going around starting to smash some of the 2x6 in. Mike has been instructed on how and where to put the door bucks in, so he's doing that layout. Previously I had cut some material for door bucks. I can show you in a future video how we do that. But we've installed these whalers. We like to use the longest pieces that we possibly can, and then we overlap them at any joints with another long piece as well, so that everything gets very straightened. So that's one of the stages of straightening. The next stage of straightening is to get a string line, run a string line around the top of this foundation, and then push everything out to that string line with braces, which we haven't done here yet, but we will do on pour days. So I want to just get this foundation completely tarped in so that we can run the heater and maximize the amount of heat that stays in the foundation. So you can see Mike has done his layout. He's going around marking out, placing the bucks at the proper location for the doors. So on this place, there's 2 garage doors on the front. There'll be 1 on the back with a man door, and right where Mike is now in the bottom right-hand corner, he's putting in 1 for a man door there as well. So what you can see Joe doing in the bottom right-hand corner now is fastening the wall to the footing with what we call Hilti screws. They're 3/8 of an inch drill bit, and you just screw these screws down into the concrete. That's going to fasten the form panel to the concrete so that it's not movable. So we've squared it. We want to keep that square, so we fasten it directly to the concrete. So it's not moving. These screws have, thousands of pounds of pull-out strength. You can see everywhere that Mike is finished, we're tarping it over. The way that I like to tarp foundations is putting this tarp right on the corner, and I run my tarps out to the corner. So I don't try and make the tarp do more than it really can. I have come up with this way of doing it to really keep that heat in, because that's what we need to do. So I've just installed a thermostat in there. I'm passing the remaining 2x6 to Joe, and he is putting it down in areas. We also use these little clamps to hold everything in place. Here, the last thing we have to do is top up the heater, and like, share, subscribe if you found this video helpful.